So like I said before, this is based off of Matthew 14:22 through 36, and it is Peter walking on water and Peter stepping into the unknown of the waves. Like, you can't really see all the waves and stuff, but I would not step out of the boat in the middle of the sea and go try to walk on that. Like, yeah. Like, and first of all, it says this in the scripture when the disciples saw Jesus. And first of all, go read Matthew 14:22 through 36. It's really great, really powerful. And I'm not going to read it right now, but it's great. Just trust me, go read it. And it says that the disciples were terrified when they saw Jesus. And girl, I would be too. Like, you don't just see a man walking on water and be like, hey, that's cool, let me try that too. So, the faith that Peter had is just incredible to me. Yes, it would be, I feel like I would think differently if I had seen Jesus do all these miracles, and then it was Jesus, my teacher, walking on water. But still, like, they were terrified when they saw him, and I would be too. And the first thing that I do when I'm terrified is not exactly jump out, walk on water. So, just the stepping into the unknown. We're on the Sea of Galilee. Jesus sent the disciples out in a boat, and he was going to go pray after they had fed the 5,000 people. And then, later on in the day, it would have been nighttime. I should probably check this, peoples. Let's go to Matthew real quick. So, yeah, it doesn't specify, but yes, it says later that night, after Jesus had prayed, once they had fed the 5,000, he was walking on the water out to the boat that the disciples were in, and they saw him and they were terrified, and I would be too. And Peter called out to Jesus and said, Lord, if it is you, tell me to come to you on the water. And so Jesus said, come, and Peter stepped out of the ocean, out onto the Sea of Galilee in faith. And this is the part that I really want to focus on, is Peter's unknown. So it was storming, the wind, the waves, the storm, and the sea creatures were all things that Peter had a very good reason to be afraid of. I don't know about you, but I've seen the movie Soul Surfer, and I don't just go stepping out in the middle of the ocean. Like, I don't like the idea of sharks. The idea of stepping out to the middle of the ocean terrifies me. So, just that's something to think about. And another thing about Peter stepping out is he was already shooken up. He just saw Jesus walking on water, and they thought it was a ghost at first, so he was already terrified on the inside, but he still trusted Jesus enough that when Jesus said, come, he came. And so there will be unknowns, but we have to have faith, and we have to trust. It will get stormy, but when we focus on Jesus, we can do the impossible, like walk on water. When we take our focus so later on, Peter takes his focus off of Jesus, and he begins to sink, and he cries out, Lord, save me. And something that really caught my attention here is Jesus said to Peter, you of little faith, why did you doubt me? And that verse, when I read that last night, I was like, whoa. It was like Jesus was speaking right to me. So many times in our life, I will get myself focused on Jesus, and I'm like, Jesus, you are we can do this, let's go, I've got Jesus on my team, this is great. But then, the minute we look one way or the other, and we don't look straight ahead to Jesus, we lose focus, and we doubt. We say, God, why are all these storms and waves crashing around me then? if I can do anything with you, like, so we have to keep our trust, faith, and focus on Jesus. Even in the unknown, even in the hardest times. And guys, I'm just going to say, that is hard for me. When I was reading that, why did you doubt? Why do we doubt Jesus? We've seen all these great things that he can do, and then we take our focus off of what he's done, what he can do, and we look at our problems for 1 minute and we fall apart. And then, instead of constantly worshiping Jesus and wanting to grow closer to him, we just say, Lord, save me. What happened? Like, Jesus, save me, come on. And that just hit me hard, guys. That was deep. And so what we can learn is just we always have to keep our focus on Jesus. Don't look at the problems. Don't look at the winds and the waves. He will take care of that. He has one hand on you and one hand taking care of the mess. And we just always have to remember that, or else we will begin to sink and we will have to cry, Lord, save me. But if we just keep our focus on Jesus, we can walk on the waves. We can say to Satan, I'm going to walk all over your face. These problems you're trying to cause in my life, no, I'm walking on top of them. Straight toward Jesus. Eyes on Jesus. Faith in Jesus. Trust in Jesus. So that is my big takeaway from this that I really want to share with you and encourage you to go read this and study this on your own, and then leave in the comments down below what Jesus taught you and what verse stood out to you the most. For me, like I said, it was immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. You of little faith, he said, why did you doubt? That was the verse that stuck out to me the most. So you guys go read it for yourself. Self-study it and let me know what Jesus taught you down in the comments, or you can email me. I would love to get emails from you guys. I will leave my email down in the description. But yeah, so go study this for your own. And now let's just... So finally, it is story time. And I'm just going to share a couple, I have 3 examples of stepping into the unknown in my life and how God has worked through that and with me. And so, yeah, 2 of these things I have walked through. They are behind me, and I praise God for how he has brought me through those. And the other one is something that I'm going through right now that I want to share. So first, is the one I'm going through right now. So my family is looking for a new church right now, and that's actually kind of what has encouraged me to make my relationship with God personal, and it has been the most beautiful thing for me. So, changing youth groups is hard. Me and my family went to the same church for 18 years. I'm only 14, almost 15, but so my parents have been going to the same church for almost 20 years. I was born and raised in that church, and I practically knew everyone that walked in and out of those doors. I knew every face in the youth group, and it was just my home. It was easy, and that's the way it was. But some things have changed in life, and so our church has changed too. And one of the physical steps into the unknown, into the sea, it has been for me, is stepping into a new youth group where everyone around is strangers. I don't know a single face, but I have to step out and trust God that I will be okay. And when I stop praying in my head, or I stop trusting God, it's when I fall apart and I'm like, go cry in a corner type mood. So right now, that is just one way that I'm stepping into the unknown, and we will see how God brings me through that. The story I wanted to share was going to a new school in middle school. That was definitely a big step into the unknown for me. And I had been homeschooled. I went to a small co-op school, homeschool co-op, but it was very different, and you didn't really know everyone. Like, your classes were all different. It was more of a college style school. So when I went to a Christian private school, it was a huge step for me because all my friends were at church. We hadn't been looking for a new church at this time yet. All my friends were at church, and I was like, I don't know anyone here. This is kind of scary. So I had to step into the unknown, and I had to pray, God, help me to get through this prayer meeting at school. Like, we had some 6th grade meet and greets and a prayer meeting and stuff. So those two things were the two things that I remember most. God, where me and my mom prayed, and we were like, God, just help this to go well. Help me to find friends. Help it to all go smoothly and give me peace. And God brought me through that. He provided me with friends, and those friends are still some of my very best friends to this day. And so that was just a beautiful situation where I had to step into the unknown, and God led me through it. The final story that I wanted to share was about my grandmother. She passed away, oh goodness, I can't do math. I don't remember what year it was. I think it was around 4 years ago now. But when we were caring for her and her health, every day was a new unknown. We didn't know how her health was going to be that day. And the hardest, most treasured memory that I have of that unknown situation was the week that she passed away. Me and my siblings and my dad went to the beach actually for Thanksgiving with his family. My mom stayed behind to be with her. But I remember walking out of that nursing home, and I said, I love you, Grandma, and I stepped out of her room. And she passed away that week. But all the hard times of caring for her and being with her and seeing her in pain, they cleared up. God provided peace as we moved on in life. And yes, I miss her so much still. But I can see how God was working, and I can't imagine her living through the pandemic. Like, that would have been very hard on everyone. And so there's just these little blessings that you see throughout the way of when you stepped out in faith and cared for my grandma. And I just had one last verse that I wanted to share with you guys before I close this video out. It is the verse on the front of my notebook actually, but it just kept coming to mind when I was studying for this, and it's 2 Corinthians 5:7. For we live or walk, some versions say different, by faith, not by sight. So I just wanted to leave you guys with that verse, and I really hope you enjoyed this little video today, and let me know your favorite part of what I shared down below, and also what you learned from studying this on your own. Don't forget, I will have all the links to the music video that was filmed on the Sea of Galilee for this song, and 2 videos for the backstory of the song linked down below. But I really hope you'll have a great day. Go be a light for Jesus. Bye!